Okay, so as was said, my name is Amanda Collins, and I'm from NHS in Bradford County. We cover our student assistance program currently covers Bradford and Sullivan counties, and we have two SAP liaisons who are full-time that work in that program, and we cover 8 school districts. And in those 8 school districts, we have 8 high schools, 1 middle school, 6 elementary schools, and 2 primary schools. We are in a very rural area, so some of our data might look significantly different than someplace more populated. We currently only do mental health evaluations and assessments. We do not do the drug and alcohol within our sites. And we use both screenings and assessments when we meet with our kiddos. So we have just implemented our BH Works. We actually were selected to start this school year. So we started in September. Initially, we had some resistance from some of our schools. Again, we're very rural, very, we'll just say very rural. And some of the schools had some concerns about the questions that were being asked. Specifically, some of the specific content, such as like sexual orientation and drug use, and they had some concerns whether it was age appropriate for the kids in their school districts. There was a major concern of what kind of parent reaction was going to be if any of the kids went home and said, oh, well, I took an assessment that asked me about, if I've ever had anal sex. They were very concerned about that. And they also had some questions about its validity. So in order to address those concerns, myself and the liaisons worked with the schools in order for them to kind of gain some ease about the specific tool. We provided them with research and any documentations that we had. We also provided parents with documentation about the tool and reviewed the information that was found in the tool. I know I had several conversations with, one superintendent specifically that was afraid that some of the questions would lead the students to participate in those activities. We had to have a very blunt conversation of, if you think, your students don't know about this, then you're not living on the earth. And we also talked about the validity of the tool and the backing of research behind it. So once we got the BH Works implemented, we finally started receiving some positive feedback. We had some comments that the speed and accuracy and ease of use were very helpful. There was positive information or feedback about the summary that provides the target issues and directions for the liaisons on in which area to focus if they were to complete additional assessments and measurements. We found that a lot of the students answered freely, and most of them tended to answer honestly, even though they knew it would be reviewed later. And the liaisons liked that the students were able to see their results after the completion of it, because they felt that eased some of their concern, the students' concern, that something was wrong with them. So before we started using BH Works, we used some of our own tools that were created, and some of our data from the year prior to starting BH Works in the 15-16 school year. We had 178 students were screened for mental health evaluations or assessments. 20 of those students demonstrated suicidal ideation. 1 reported attempting suicide, and 10 reported anxiety. Now we move to the 16-17 school year, in which we implemented using BHWorks, and at the time of the data collection, which was earlier this week, we had 154 students that were screened. 102 of those were screened using BHWorks because we are in elementary schools, so not all of our students are able to be screened with it. 33 of those students screened positive on suicidal ideation, 27 with a history, and 6 current. 71 students screened positive on anxiety, and 86 positive on depression. So those numbers are significantly higher than what we had the previous year. And we just compiled some of the data on average age, as you can see on this slide. We have primarily 12, 13, and 14-year-olds that we serve, specifically this year. And the next slide indicates gender. So we had pretty much even down the middle. We did have 2% identify as transgender and 1 identify as not knowing what gender. But pretty relatively consistent numbers there between sexes. And then we have our identification of at-risk behavioral health disorders. As you can see, some of our major concerns were the moderate to severe depression, significant anxiety, and PTSD were our highest ones. We did identify 6% with current suicidal ideation, so those ones obviously are on our radar now, and with 26 with a history of suicidal ideation. So those are just kind of what we found this year. And as a summary, initially this was met with resistance from some of the schools. At this point, all the school districts are on board and are utilizing this tool after we were able to, discuss with them with their concerns. BHWorks is less subjective than our previous tool that we used, so there's a lot less guesswork. And we noticed that the data for the at-risk behavioral health disorders has shown a significant increase from school year 15-16 to school year 16-17. There could be a couple different reasons for that. Maybe the prevalence of the disorders are higher in 16-17. Maybe the previous tools were unable to accurately identify risk factors. I'm going more toward the second because of the subjective tool that we used to use. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions from the group for Amanda?
Amanda, are you using the?
Can you identify yourself?
Oh, it's Sue Yackel from Philadelphia. Are you using? Did you have access to the electronic SAP file?
Yes, we do.
Oh, are you using it?
We're using some information from it, or some tools from it.
Okay.
Hi, this is Darla, Philadelphia County. I just wanted to ask, is there a reason why you're not screening for drug and alcohol in your county?
We actually, our drug and alcohol screening is done through the county themselves.
Okay.
So in our county, it's split. We have 2 different agencies that complete the screening.
Okay.
Have you talked to them about, using the screen? So you would have then county-wide data.
We have not discussed that with them. There was a major turnover at the beginning of the school year, so that was not something that was high on our list, which will move, we definitely can discuss with the county if this is something that they might be interested in and looking further into.
Okay.
Hi, this is Jennifer from Greene County. I just wanted to say you did a great presentation. Thank you. And also, I'm sorry. And also, are you not asking the drug and alcohol questions on the screening, because those are included on the screening? Cool.
They're being asked, and if there's any sort of indicator on there or any sort of, red flag on there, then we do make sure that we're communicating that with the drug and alcohol liaison.
Okay, that's great. And are all these numbers, you have really good numbers. We're trying to, work on increasing participation and getting all the schools on board, and also really, some of them aren't on board with doing it, but getting participation or permission for the students. Are all these SAP kids that are referred to SAP, or can you explain that, please?
Yep, they are all referred SAP kids that we have parent permission from.
So do they generally get better participation as far as getting everyone pretty much to sign that are referred to SAP, or are the numbers compared to the number they're referred?
It's hit or miss with the district. Different districts have different policies. Some districts actually send staff out to the parents to get signatures from their home. Others will just wait for paperwork to come in, and others might call the families in to the school to sign. It's as I said, it's different with every school, but there's still some struggles with getting signed paperwork back with many of the schools.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering, do you think you get at least like 50% of the permission for the SAP referrals, or do you have an estimated idea?
I would say at least 50%.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay, thank you. I don't want to monopolize the time. I appreciate it. Your answers.
Hi, Amanda. This is Ernie. You did a fantastic presentation. Great job.
Hi, Ernie. Thanks so much.
And we are also having trouble in Lackawanna schools because drug and alcohol usually doesn't do any screenings within the school. So it is basically mental health. And if we do see something in our forms, we'll alert them, but they do their own screenings at the age.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so this is Deborah from Montgomery County. So you talked about in your summary that you met with some initial resistance from school districts. I'm wondering, did you meet with any resistance on the part of parents when they saw the results as far as students, their child scoring high for anxiety, depression? Because that's something we're encountering. So I'm wondering if you saw that as well, and if so, how did you deal with that?
Actually, we didn't really meet any resistance from any of the parents. It was mainly just the schools. I can't recall even one parent that was really struggled with the utilization of the tool and the results.
Okay, and as far as the schools, with those increased numbers, have they changed any of their programming or any of their policies for mental health?
No, not really. Sorry, I'm going to be honest, no.
Because it's some wonderful statistics you've put together. It would be great if they could influence policy and programming down the line for each of those districts.
And that is something that's kind of on our radar to really start pushing now that we have this concrete data, to really start working with the schools in order to encourage that to happen.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your efforts and time.
Great questions. Any more?
Actually, this is Jennifer again. I do have another question. I think it was Susan who had asked about what is the eSAP file that you're referring to, or the electronic SAP file? What is that she was referring to?
The SAP file is, we started, it's a larger intake form that we started in Philadelphia County. This is almost year 2 they're going into using. And it was just a combination of the intake that the agencies had been using. So we wanted to make a way where they could have standardized data collected for a number of different domains across the board. Now we kind of piloted in Philadelphia, but now we'll be making that, it's electronic now in the portal. So when you guys get access to the portal, you all will have access to use it. And remember from our last call, for those who were on it, that SAP file at the bottom has the section for the JQRS reporting, so that even if you're not doing the screening tool for kids under 12, you can still fill out a SAP file for that kid and enter in that JQRS summary information for that child, and then the portal will actually aggregate that information for you, so you'll be able to get real-time information on the quarterly numbers. So you'll basically, all you have to do is transpose the numbers from the report to the state portal when you enter the numbers in for the quarter. So you guys will have access to that shortly. It's gonna be part of the documents that'll be loaded into the portal, as well as any documents that you have that you collect that you want loaded into the portal. You can collect anything you collect by paper, you can collect electronically in the portal. So that's something that you'll have access to pretty soon.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
Any more questions for Amanda before we move on to our next presenter? All right.